before I go to bed, more recapping. When I worked for the company at Cheddar in Somerset, I came back from South Wales one day with this Volvo F88 and a load of coal, South Wales coal, for a cement works at Plymouth, and it got a bad water leak. I had to keep stopping, putting water in, so I thought I'll get back to Cheddar, he'll let somebody else take the coal down, take the vehicle in, and I shall go home early. Lovely. But no, I got back, he said, Jim, the fitter, Jimmy, vertically challenged, couldn't resist taking the piss. I say, where's little Jimmy? Because one day in the garage, I said, walk under that trailer, Jim, get out of my fucking way, will you? I looked in one day, I said to the blokes, where's the dwarf? And Jimmy was down the pit. He looked up and said, oh, right, this fucking spanner around your neck. I said, I was only joking, mate. Come on, where's your sense of humour? But Jim said to the boss, no, you better let me fix the head gasket, it's leaking. And the boss said, no, let Arthur go down to Plymouth, take some water and keep stopping and putting water in. And Jim just walked away and threw his hands up. So I managed to get down to Plymouth, to cut a long story short, and tipped the load of coal off. Phoned Cheddar, thinking he'd say, well, see if you can try and get it back. Oh no. He says, run down to Falmouth in Cornwall. I thought, oh God. A load of fish off the trawlers to Aberdeen. I says, where? He says, Aberdeen. I says, what in this fucking old banger? He says, what do you mean fucking old banger? I said, well, it is. I'll be lucky if I get back to Cheddar with it. Never mind Aberdeen. He says, you'll be alright, just go up steady. From Falmouth in Cornwall up to Aberdeen in a vehicle with a head gasket blowing, losing water, just go up steady. Well, these are old aluminium scrap trailers that we used to carry as well as scrap coal and fish as well. Well, aluminium, the scrap metal used to puncture them, and they were like a colander on wheels. And down at Falmouth they dropped the fish in, straight off the trawler, overloaded again. They wouldn't let us use the weighbridge because water, or the seawater, running out. And once the seawater had finished running out, the fish used to compress, and then thick red blood came out. So I set off for Aberdeen. Got as far as Shatfell, and a piston blew just before the service area. Now all the service areas had signs out at that time, no fish lorries, because of the blood that were running out. And at Shatfell on the M6 I pulled into the service area, phoned Cheddar, make the boss. I suppose you've been thrashing it. I said, no, I fucking haven't. You should never have sent me up here with it, for crying out loud. And he said, I'll send Jim out. I said, what, up here? I said, I'm at Shatfell. Yeah, he not be long coming up there. He'll be up there in a few hours. I said, a few hours? And the service area manager came out. He says, get this vehicle off the service area now. So I can't. Piston's blown. What? So the piston's blown. I can't move it. He says, well, there's all smelly blood running out the back. I said, is it? He says, this is quite intolerable. I can't have this. I'm going to phone the police. I says, yeah, go on then. So before you do that, get your stuff out with plastic buckets and help yourself. Fresh mackerel, and I knew it was grossly overloaded. I said, take as much as you like. But he declined my very generous offer, and the police got there. I says, piston's blown. The fitter is on his way out to put another piston in and do the head gasket. The service area manager said, where's he coming from? I said, Cheddar in Somerset. What? He says, it'll be all day. I said, yeah, great. I can get my head down and have a nice long kit. And these police officers were sniggering, which upset the service area manager even more. And he was fuming. But Big Dennis came down from Aberdeen and we swapped the trailers, and he took my load up to Aberdeen and I brought his empty trailer, driving back at 30 mile an hour from Shapfell down to Cheddar in Somerset. Got back about 5 in the morning. God, I needed matchsticks to hold my eyes open. And I just got in the bed, on the bed at the back of the seats, and his daughter came in about 8 o'clock. She said, "Oh, if I take that lorry over there," I said, "Fuck off, I'm going home." "What?" I said, "I've been driving all bleeding night, I'm shattered." So I went home. Anyway, Duff Huey, driver, several sandwiches short of a picnic box in the yard one day. He says, "Arthur," I says, "What?" He said, "Do you think I look a cunt?" I says, "What kind of question is that, Huey? If you push me for an answer, I will have to say yes." The boss wouldn't put him on the articulated bulk tippers. The boss said he'll tip the bloody lot over. Then Huey was most upset because they were driving the rigids, like, not articulated. And they were driving short one day. I says, "Well, put Huey on it." No. I said, "Listen, Mick," his name was Mick, the boss. I said, "Put Huey on it and put him with me on the London run, and I'll make sure he tips the load off okay. If necessary, I'll tip the load off for him." And Huey managed okay, and he achieved his life ambition to drive the big heavies, 38 ton at that time. It later went up to 44 ton, and I was his big hero. He used to put his arms around me in the yard. I said, "Get off!" Like she used to say, he loves you, Arthur." Oh, God. But early one Monday morning, feeling a bit weary, I was writing my tachograph card out, and Huey came dashing over. "Oh, Arthur, I'm so glad I've seen you. I've had a terrible weekend. I haven't slept at all." I said, "Why, what's the problem, mate?" He says, "Well, if I tell you, you've got to promise you won't tell anybody." I says, No. He says, "Well, are you going to promise?" I said, "Look, either tell me or fuck off." He says, "I've got a big problem." I said, "I know, that's you. You're one big fucking problem." He says, "No," he says, "I've got a big, horrible looking red spot." I says, "Yeah, it's sat on top of your shoulders. I'm looking at it now." I'm terribly sarcastic, but I am sarcastic by nature. He says, "No, it's down there." I says, "What do you mean down there?" He says, "It's on my dick." Oh, God. I thought, don't ask me to look or I'll fucking drive off and run straight over you. He says, "Do you think it's AIDS?" I says, "No." "And you know what that stands for, don't you, Huey?" He says, AIDS. He says, "What?" I said, "Arse injected death sentence." He says, "Oh, not like that." I says, "Really? Different to what I've heard." That was awful to the poor bloke. I says, "No, it's probably herpes." "Oh my God, what's that?" I said, "Your dick's going to drop off." "Oh," he ran away crying. "What will mother say?" I said, "Come here." "It's nothing. Go and see the doctor. It's probably because you don't wash yourself properly, you dirty little bastard. Go and see the doctor, and he'll give some cream to put on it." It was a bit simple, like, But he invited us all round to his house. His mother runs a riding stable near Weston-super-Mare, and we got there, and all the drivers sat there talking about work, where they'd been, where they were going. They just kept a conversation. I was talking to Huey's brother David. It was quite normal. Got 2 young boys, and I said to David, "How is it, Dave? No offence, you're quite normal, but Huey's a little bit simple." David said, "He's the afterbirth." And Huey's mother said, "Look, Arthur," she says, "you are the only real friend that Hugh," because she called him Hugh, "you're the only real friend he's got." She says, "I know he invites Mickey taking, and he's one of life's clowns." She says, "But I do worry about him." She says, "Please, can you look after him?" I says, "Yeah, of course I will do." She said, "He's a big worry." I said, "No, don't worry about it at all, man. I like Mrs. Lewis a lot." because after I returned to Nottingham I went down there and she put me up for the weekend, gave me a room, meal, she wouldn't take a penny off me. And after I got back to Nottingham I phoned into Flora and sent her a huge bouquet of flowers. And Huey occasionally still around. I mean, he don't know anything about bloody computers, but it's going on, so I'm going to carry on a bit. The boss at Cheddar bought me a brand new Scania, and I thought, great, I've been away all week in it, sleeping in the bed behind the seats, and I got back in the yard and his daughter was running the job on this Friday afternoon. She says, take that lorry over there, Arthur, and go up in the quarry, put a load of stone on, take it down to a local customer. I says, what, that bloody old banger? Oh, come on, she says, don't give me a hard time, the customer's waiting for that load. So I got out the posh new Scania and got into this old Guy, G-U-Y, gears all over the place, steering wheel all over the place, went out of our yard, turned sharp left, straight into the quarry, and up past the weighbridges, climbed up the side of the Mendip Hills, got up to the top, put 20 tons of stone on it, 20 tons of stone on it, came back down the hill and the brakes failed. Foot brake down to the floorboard, and I put the lights on, sounded the horn, which amazingly worked, and everybody in the weighbridges ran, and they had placed strategically a sandpit for runaway vehicles, and I steered this lorry into the sandpit and it sunk right down, and I just stepped out of the cab. I didn't need to jump out, and I walked down to our yard, and Amanda, I told her what had happened. She said, oh dear Arthur, did you have to put it in the sandpit? Couldn't you have come round? I says, yeah, I could, Amanda. I'd have gone past the yard doing about 90 miles an hour. And oh dear, there's lots more, but it's late and it's gone on for long enough, so I'm going to bed. Very good night.